Media Studies department. I'd like to start with a quote from someone you've probably never heard of, and to be honest, neither had I until I came across this, but it really echoes what a lot of people involved in media education are saying at the moment. It's no longer enough to simply read and write. Students must also become literate in the understanding of visual images. Our children must learn how to spot a stereotype, isolate a social cliché, and distinguish facts from propaganda, analysis from banter, important news from coverage. In a world where so much of what we see on the television is misleading or even fake news, we think that the study of media has never been more important for our young people. So we do the OCR Media Studies A-Level, and we think it offers the opportunity to study a challenging curriculum of contemporary media products, applying media theorists and examining the historical, political, cultural, social, economic context in which media texts are produced and distributed. We spent a lot of time looking at the different syllabuses, and we felt that this one offered a really diverse range of contemporary, interesting texts with plenty of academic rigour as well. So we study mass media communication across a range of 9 forms. I'll show you those forms later on in the presentation. They include, though, radio, long-form TV, television, drama, cinema, music videos and advertising. We also offer the opportunity for creativity and some real-life practice in the NEA component. Again, I'll come to that later. So this is the department. On the left you can see Mrs. Katie Bannister. She's the head of media and the lead teacher for media. Unfortunately, I'm deputising for her today because she's recovering from surgery. I'm Nikki Phillips and I'm the media teacher at Heybridge, but she'll be back very soon, and probably by the time that you're watching this actually, she'll be back in the classroom. I'd like to take you on a quick photo tour of our department. So we have a dedicated media suite. It's ours. No other departments use it. We have 25 Macs that you can see around the room for the students to use, and they use them pretty regularly for practical work and just from time to time in lessons. You can see we have lots of film posters on the walls, but I'd just like to reiterate that we don't spend a lot of time just sitting watching film. It's a very small part of the course. On the next slide, you can see some of our students in action. These photos were taken pre-COVID, so as you can see on the bottom right, not a lot of social distancing going on, but they were filming for a short documentary, Vox Pops, that they did as a short project in one of the lessons. At the top there, you can see one of our students, our previous students, working on a magazine cover, just learning the skills of desktop publishing. On the bottom left, this is our wall of theory. We have to study 19 theorists. They're all quite complex academic theorists that we then apply to the media texts that we study in class. So what can you expect in your media study lessons? Well, you'll study a wide variety of media texts in depth, and we'll do that via teacher-led discussions and lectures, as well as independent investigations and lots of collaborative work too. Expect to draw on your own cultural knowledge and be part of lively discussion on all aspects of media, from current affairs to video games to the latest box set. That's not to say you have to be an expert on all of those things, but the best students really do have a genuine passion for popular culture, for news, what's going on in the world, and that really is the attitude to come with. If you're not interested in news, if you're not interested in watching films, and you're not interested in watching the TV, in reading the signs around you, it might not be for you. You'll also be using the Macs regularly in lessons, as I mentioned earlier, and be introduced to video editing and desktop publishing software. We set regular knowledge tests every week on both sides of the course for all the units, and we also set half-termly unit assessments just to make sure that you're making progress. But learning doesn't end in the classroom. We have lots of really exciting opportunities to go on trips. The main pull seems to be our Media Live trip to Disneyland Paris, which is a big media conference that we go to every 2 years. We take the whole of Year 12 and Year 13. We go for 3 days. We also visit Warner Brothers Studios, normally at Christmas, as well as Cadbury World and the BBC Media Centre every year. So the programme of study, it's a 2-year course, and the examined units are obviously sat at the end of that two-year course. Year 12, we study the Evolving Media Unit, which is worth 35% of the entire A-level, and we also work through the NEA, which is worth 30% in total. Then in Year 13, we move on to Media Messages, another paper, also worth 35%, and then the remainder of the year is spent on revision. So you can see here the set products that we have to study. If you have a look at the top there, so the news and online media we do in Year 13 as part of the Media Messages course, magazines, music videos and advertising we study in Year 12 as part of Evolving Media, and then in Year 13 it's film, radio and video games. One of the most enjoyable parts of the course, I think, for a lot of our students, particularly if they're very creative and practical, is the NEA. It's called the Making Media Unit. It's a component that gives the learners the opportunity to work independently and develop expertise that builds on areas of study from elsewhere in the course. Learners create a cross-media product in response to a brief set by OCR. So the exam board send us a brief. There are 3 choices of products that the student can plan, research and produce. Currently, our Year 13s, you normally would do the coursework in Year 12, but COVID has pushed that back to Year 13. Very difficult to film when you're in lockdown. So our students are doing music videos at the moment for a protest song. Some of them are creating current affairs magazines, and 1 or 2 of them are producing documentaries. You can see over on the right a couple of examples of previous work that our students have done. So a couple of years ago, one of our students made a period piece. You can see her filming on location there. And the Silver Screen magazine is taken from a student last year who had to create an entertainment magazine for a young audience. So where can media studies take you? Well, we think a lot of places. We think it's a really exciting and relevant subject to study, and the creative industries is a huge part of the economy. It generates nearly £11.5 million per hour, 1 in 11 UK jobs in the creative industry. But you look at the statistics and you'll see that the economic growth in the creative industry sector far outstrips economic growth as a whole. So there are lots of opportunities for successful careers in media studies. There are lots of different degrees that you can do, some of them very specialist, for example journalism or marketing, and some of them more general. Here we've got some of the jobs that are directly related to a straight media degree: media planner, multimedia specialist, programme researcher and so forth. You can see quite a wide variety of career opportunities. But the skills that you gain from a media A-level and a media degree mean that your degree will be useful in lots of other areas, and I've listed just a few here. We have previous students that have gone on to open their own businesses in all types. One particular I'm thinking of in personal training, and he tells us that media was the most useful subject that he took because of the practical aspect of it. His understanding of social media marketing has been a really important part of growing his business and being able to take on all those projects himself rather than having to outsource them to somebody expensive, because he can do it himself because he did media A-level. This is Lauren. She is a ex-student in the Heybridge Media Department. She's now a creative marketing account manager. So we just thought we'd give you a little taste of what some of our students in media have gone on to do. And so there we are, that's the Heybridge Media Department. We hope to see you in person very soon. In the meantime, you can find our open evening resources on the school website. Thank you, bye.